Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well and you had a cracking Christmas. I just wanted to talk to you about one of the presents that I got given to me by my wife at Christmas. I had quite a few photo books bought for me. I think there was about 4 in total, and some really good ones. But the one that really I was really surprised by, really struck a chord with me, was probably the most inexpensive present that I had bought for me. And I want to tell you about that book and show you that. But first of all, I'm just going to give you a very quick brief history on myself and why it sort of struck a chord with me, really. Now, I sort of grew up in the sort of late 70s, early 80s, as a sort of teenager around that time. And I used to listen when I was out with my mum and dad in the car. I used to listen to a lot of rock and roll, and they were very big Elvis fans, Buddy Holly, Bill Haley and the Comets, Gene Vincent. My mum actually saw Gene Vincent and Bill Haley and the Comets in Maidstone during the 50s, which was quite amazing. But yeah, I sort of grew up listening to that type of music. And sort of in the early 80s, I guess, there were sort of quite a few bands that were making their way in the charts with some success, doing sort of new versions of some of them old rock and roll songs and sort of new wave rockabilly, if you like. I think the biggest group was probably the Stray Cats, but there was also Matchbox, and there were some sort of new wave rockabilly bands coming up, like the Ricochets, for example. And I sort of took quite an interest in that, and I started looking more into the music that inspired some of those people. So, if you look at some of the Elvis music, for instance, I was looking back further to see where some of those tracks originated from and listening to the original recordings. So I got quite into it. I also had, from a very early age, I also had quite a keen interest in cars, and as you may or may not know, I've been working in the motor trade since leaving school, basically. So I've always been around cars and always been into that sort of rock and roll, rockabilly scene. Obviously the hair's gone now, as you can see. That went years ago. In actual fact, when I was at school, the Stray Cats were a big thing at the time, and a few of us lads had the really big quiffs and what have you. And my history teacher actually said to me once, "Bell, if you put as much effort into your homework as you do your hairstyle, you'll be a scholar." So that was Mr. Smith, my English teacher, and he probably would have been right with that comment. But yeah, I've always been into that whole thing, and I've owned lots of old classic cars. Always been into the hot rod, drag racing sort of scene as well. So, which brings us to why this particular book sort of struck a chord with me. There's 3 things about this book as well. But my wife bought me this book, which is called Drag Scene, and it's all about basically all about drag racing at Santa Pod Raceway, which is probably our most well-known drag racing strip in the UK. But yeah, there's loads and loads of really great photos in here, and I've never heard of the photographer before. I have reached out to him on Instagram and told him what a fantastic book I think it is that he's created, but it was really, really cheap. And what I like about this, apart from the fact there's such great photos in here, I mean, look at some of these photos, they're amazing. And yeah, it's just really, really well put together. But I think one of the other things that really turned me on to this is reading the bit in the front of the book here, and also looking on the guy's Instagram feed. Incidentally, it's Paul Martin, photography by Paul Martin, is that he tends to use a lot of old film cameras or digital cameras with vintage lenses on to get this sort of really nostalgic sort of type of feel to the images. And I mean, some of them, if you look at some of the images, for example, Some of them are absolutely fantastic, and they look like they were probably taken years ago. There's another one I just saw there. I mean, you know, fantastic, aren't they? But yeah, this book is really, really great. I'm really pleased with this, and my wife saw it on Facebook. I belong to a group on Facebook called Outlaw Anglias, which is all about a group of drag race Anglias and Ford Poplars, and basically they, you know, this was advertised on their particular page on Facebook. But yeah, Ford Anglias, Outlaw Anglia, and it's basically this group of guys that go around all the different race meets, and they try and get the best ever quarter mile time out of their Ford Pops and their Ford Anglias. But yeah, it's really good. My wife saw it on there and thought, yep, I think you really like that. Bought the book, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm really, really pleased. The other thing that I think is great about this is that all the profits from this book are actually going to cancer research, and I know that the Outlaw Anglias do quite a bit for cancer research as well. So I'm really, really pleased. But that's a fantastic little present. Probably my most inexpensive present that I've had bought, and I absolutely love it. So if you're interested in getting a copy of Drag Scene, then you can either find Paul Martin on Instagram, or if you go on Facebook and look for the Outlaw Anglia group and just go back a little while, you'll see that it was advertised on there. But yeah, fantastic book, really, really worth buying. Some great photos. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, just very quickly, I don't know whether you guys have been following Damon's little project that he was doing leading up to Christmas. He bought an advent calendar which actually had a radio controlled car in it, would you believe, and each day you opened a little door, got out a part and assembled those parts, and on Christmas Eve he ended up assembling the last parts on this kit and had a full radio controlled car with the controller, and the plan was he was going to build that up and do a little vlog each day, and once it's built, as it is now, he's going to auction the car off, and the proceeds from that auction are going to be going to Noah's Ark Animal Rescue. So if you haven't seen that, please go and check out Damon's channel. We'll put a link down below, and if you wanted to stick a bid in for that, if you were hoping for a radio controlled car for Christmas and didn't get one, then by all means go and put a bid in for that one that Damon's built. He did also say that if somebody wanted to build that themselves, he would gladly take it all apart, put it back in the advent calendar box, so that you can open it up one piece at a time and assemble it all yourself. But yeah, go and check it out, and I'm sure if you're lucky enough to win that, you'd really enjoy it, and you'll be pleased that the proceeds are going towards that animal rescue charity. So thanks ever so much. Don't forget, guys, check out Drag Scene. I've also got a new lens for Christmas, which is a 50mm f1.8 Yongnuo lens to fit my Canon camera, which I will also be doing a review on. That will be coming up soon. But thanks ever so much for watching, and please obviously hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It's been great seeing you. Thanks ever so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.